Guys,
Okay.
do either of you know what Homestuck is? So, Homestuck is about this group of 13-year-old kids in 2009. I found this new video game, let's play it, and then they play it, and it's like a cross between The Sims and an RPG. Each of them get their own planet. Slowly, they all become God.
Okay.
It's a religious story. It is an origin story for the universe. They all communicate through an instant messenger program called Pastor Chum, which is essentially just Skype or Discord at this point. They're all gamers and they become gods. Each of them have a specific class and aspects, and that determines not only their entire storyline itself, like their character arc, but also what powers they have. For example, you have Dirk Strider. He is the Knight of Time. He has to go through like the story arc of a knight where he's protecting his friends, but also he ends up getting time travel powers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
I
essentially,
can totally relate to that.
yeah, I mean, you time travel a lot. Each of the kids eventually gets their own like god powers, and they use those powers in new and creative ways.
This sounds just like Pokemon.
Yeah, kind of. They're finding out what the game is as they're playing it, and the game is essentially just their universe's origin. It turns out that the Earth that they grew up on was created by these 12 gray aliens with candy corn for horns named trolls.
Okay.
The character I want to talk about is actually Dave's older brother, who in the original... So each of them are basically raised by a single parent. So John is raised by his dad, Rose is raised by her mom. Dave is raised from childhood by his bro, and his bro is a complete fucking sociopath.
Okay.
Like, he trains Dave how to sword fight by giving him a katana while he's still in diapers.
Okay.
Imagine
This makes
that.
sense.
I mean, that's when I learned how to sword fight.
He covers the apartment that they live in. It's just covered in ironic puppets. All the puppets have gigantic asses. It's awful.
That's really bad. I've had enough already, thank you.
He does like weird saw traps, and if you fail the saw trap, which is in the kitchen, like when you're trying to get cereal, just a million fucking puppets fall on top of you. Bro has a main puppet named Little Cowl that Dave is just completely afraid of, and this Little Cowl puppet is just awful. It's literally called a juju. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. So the thing about Dave's bro is that in this new alternate Earth that they're creating, basically they ended up hitting the reset button because they're like, there's no way that we can beat this game. So they hit the reset button to try to start it over so that they can beat it.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't super work, but it means that each of their single parents are now the kids, and then those kids are raised by them as adults. It's really weird, but now we get to the main character who, instead of being Dave's bro, is now Dirk Strider. He's 16, he's still a fucking sociopath, but now he's also a furry.
Okay, go on.
Is all this is making sense so far?
Not really, no, but keep going.
If you have any questions, please, like, ask them so that I can see which parts of this story are too convoluted.
They're not convoluted, it's just that, let's see, where do I go with this? Everybody being gods? Well, how do you end up with conflict if everybody's a god? You're lacking the conflict of a good story.
Oh, well, I forgot to mention the villain.
That's what's missing then.
Yeah, because they do each get god powers, and part of that is that they need to have them in order to raise the new planet. But another part is because the antagonists and villains are still way overpowered, even compared to them. So the main antagonist of the series is Lord English, who we don't even see for the first 4 years of the story. We just see little hints, little bits and pieces of what this character is. So we see his jacket. That's the first thing that we see of the guy. And his jacket is treated with such fucking reverence, and they say it is the actual fabrics of space and time. Like, it's given to a really professional tailor who's part of the mafia, and by sewing it, he can correct holes and rips in, like, time. But then, as the story progresses, we actually see who he is, and he's just like this gigantic green skeletal demon with a cane for one of his legs and a gold tooth and his eyes are just flashing billiard balls. No matter what the kids do, they don't even come close to how powerful this guy is, so there is drama, there is tension. Now, it was Equius, but it was called Arquius because it was also part of Dirk Strider. Dirk Strider has the class aspect of Prince of Heart, and so everybody has, like, blank of blank, and it's the title and aspect, and it's always one syllable each. So John is the heir of breath, Rose is the seer of light, etc. And Dirk is the Prince of Heart, and what that means is the title is how you manipulate the aspect. So Prince in this case means one who destroys with or destroys through, and then Heart, I kind of have that wrong. And then Heart means soul, essentially. So, starting off, his main ability that he shows off, and I guess we're skipping ahead into feats now, is Dirk has the ability to rip somebody's soul directly out of their body and kill them. Like, that's just one of his standard abilities. Like,
I feel like I could do that.
Like, you have Dave can protect people through time travel, or John, the heir of breath, can inherit the wind. He can manipulate wind in reality. Seer of light is somebody you can tell the future based on fortunate paths, light meaning fortune. So all of the other powers are pretty, like, easy to say a good way through, but destroying somebody's soul or destroying with somebody's soul is kind of, that's pretty villainous. The end of Homestuck is them all setting up a game where they can defeat Lord English. The ending of Homestuck is pretty straightforward. He dies. So then
It was well deserved.
And the prologue to the Homestuck epilogue, which is a sentence I hate, which is fucking stupid. And she's like, John, you have to go back in time using your retcon powers. So it's not really time travel, but it is. And you have to use those retcon powers to show the actual fight. And he's like, oh, okay. And then he goes on a picnic with some friends, and he's like, I don't really feel like doing that, though. And one of his friends is like, okay, here, I'm gonna give you an option, it's a lot easier. I brought this picnic basket, I brought 2 kinds of food, you could choose one of those instead of choosing, like, which kind of path you want to go on.
This sounds like the plot of Yogi Bear.
Yeah, kind of. So, she reveals the 2 food in the basket, it's meat and candy. And I know it feels like I skipped a whole lot because, and there is a feat where he sets up, through a bunch of Splinter Cell organizations, his own sort of time travel shenanigan, where he learns all of the game techniques because, well, everybody has a dream self on the moon when they fall asleep, he is just always awake in both of them. So he learned all the game mechanics before they even started playing the game, because they were, like, destined to. So he creates a path where he revives each of them and then cuts off his own head with his katana and then travels his head back in time just enough so that it can land in one of his friend's laps so that his friend can kiss him back to life.
I'm very confused.
Okay.
Gannon, explain to me what's going on in Homestuck.
Yeah. If you have any questions, like, I've been reading this shit for 10 years, so...
I don't have any questions.
Yes, you do.
Questions. One of them mainly...
I don't have any... I don't have any curiosities.
I have lots.
Okay.
One of them is, why? What?
That's a pretty good question when it comes to Homestuck. Did you have anything more specific than that?
No.
Homestuck sucks. Boom.
So that's fun. The meat and candy situation, basically, whichever one John chooses, that's an entire, like, it's a choose your own adventure book at the beginning, like, you know, those old choose your adventure Goosebumps books?
Yes.
Yeah.
SquareKnights.zip. I am more curious about Ganon's game than anything, so I'm gonna...
It's like a choose your own adventure book, but there's only one choice, and it's right at the beginning. So you get like
Which one am I supposed to? Oh, the MP3.
Anyway, continue.
This is
Yes.
what the character looks like.
That is beautiful, man.
Wait,
I love
wait,
how
wait.
his feet are like extremely flat, and he probably steps in so many stones and you just go right through his foot.
Let me see. Okay, I've seen this guy before. I can't remember who or what, but I've seen him before.
I like his triangle sunglasses, which are also a separate character.
I like that he's short enough that I can
Wait,
kick him
wait.
like a soccer ball.
Wait, his glasses are a character.
Yeah. So he has like the power of heart, which means that he can he separates his soul into different things. He says at one point that he creates an artificial intelligence inside of his sunglasses that he's putting part of his soul and heart into. So it creates a separate character, but it's also just his personality at the same time. Then his autoresponder, which is still a part of his soul, becomes part of Lord English.
So you're telling me that you guys are all upset about a second Homestuck coming out, but you love this. So
no, nobody loves Homestuck.
someone needs to explain.
Imagine if
What?
somebody started like coming to your house every day and beating your legs with a baseball bat for 10 straight years. You're not gonna love that. At the same time, if it ever stopped, you'd be like, wait, where's Mr. Baseball Bat? My knees feel like different. This is the worst analogy.
That was a really bad analogy because I'm like, no, I'm good.
You shouldn't read Homestuck. So the meat and candy that does different timelines. It's at the beginning of Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure book. If they're like, hey, do you want to do this? Turn to page 5. If you want to do this, turn to page 722. Because that's fucking how long this is. In one timeline, Dirk gets upset by like nothing, and so he kills himself.
That's pretty heroic, dude.
Yeah, so he's dead forever.
I like this story.
We
It's so
didn't
good.
need him.
That's important, and it's also real, but at the same time, we're moving to the other timeline where Dirk becomes even more God.
Even more, God.
Yeah, so you know how stories have like writing and pictures?
Yes.
He decides I'm going to write it and I'm going to draw it.
I just want a color on it.
He starts gaining meta-narrative control based on all of his Splinter Cell souls. So like there's all these alternate timelines, but because he can still move around in all of them and sense them, he actually is aware of every possible timeline. So he becomes even more God. He can write in the story that you change your mind at something or that you don't want to fight him or whatever. And then you won't even realize that he's controlling you. He's gotten to the point where not only can he rip your soul out of your body and kill you, not only is he a master sword fighter, not only does he just throw katanas into throw a shuriken into a blender, and he has this weird puppet fetish, but at the same time he has eliminated all of your free will.
I see nothing wrong with this.
And people are like, well, I mean, so the epilogue doesn't even have any pictures. It's just all text, and it all came out like around the same time. So basically, they shit out an entire novel, and they're like, you gotta read this, and I'm like, fuck you, but okay. So I read all of it, and it's fucking crazy, and I hate it. And that's a lot of people's response, is that it's almost like they designed the epilogue of the story to make you, yes, exactly, to make you hate the comic, because it was supposed to be the final nail in the coffin and they could finally move on and do something else. Then Homestuck 2 came out. Homestuck 2 right now is all about Dirk. And he's like, yeah, I still have meta-narrative control, and my friends, like, I kind of let the leash go a little bit so they think they have free will, but I'm still gonna control them. And some of the characters have, like, different god powers, like, Terezi has the powers of mind, and so she knows that he's doing it, and she keeps asking him to stop, and he's like, nah. And now he's wearing, like, all anime clothes, even though technically he's supposed to be 26 years old. This is all so fucking stupid. I All right. Any questions?
Yes. What?
Yeah. Where did I lose you?
The moment you started.
That's fair.
Here's my response. Here's my response.
Homestuck 2 is too many. If Homestuck is so good, why isn't there a Homestuck 2? Now we can't make that joke anymore because it's the stupidest fucking title. We drove this comic into the ground for 10 straight years and we're gonna fucking do it again.
Wait, I have a question. Are they stuck at home, or is the home stuck in them?
The entire thing is a ripoff of Earthbound. So, Earth, Home, Bound, Stuck. Yeah.
You have not answered my question one bit.
At the beginning, they make jokes like, "Oh man, he's stuck at home," but then, like, no, the title makes no sense. Every now and then, they make jokes about it, like, "Oh, there's something in front of your door, and now you can't leave." It's almost like you're house trapped. It's like, I get it.
I remain unamused.
Yeah, that's well. If you don't like that pun, let me tell you, there's 10 more years of them.
Oh no.
The music's pretty good. Oh, and here's something. You know how Homestuck has music, and then, like, so some guy was living in the Homestuck creator's basement for a while because he was kind of down on his luck, and he was helping make the music and everything. And do you know that guy's name?
Of course I don't.
Toby
Nope.
Fox.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Toby Fox was living in Andrew Hussey's basement, and then he made Undertale. And now Undertale is better than Homestuck in every single way.
This is surprise.
Yeah. What a twist.
What a twist.
So, I would do stats, but stats are pretty fucking... It gets better after Act 1, I swear. Act 1 took an entire year.
That is, oh my gosh.
See, that meme is actually really important right now. Homestuck, it gets better after Act 1, and it's so fucking long. Dirk is making comments in Homestuck 2 saying it was only good during Act 1, and I'm trying to make it better again by just getting rid of everything, and we're going back to Act 1.
Oh my god, this is funny. Hold on, I've got one for you.
Okay.
This is too funny. This doesn't even make sense to me, it's just funny.
Oh no.
It doesn't have to have any context to it whatsoever.
Mark, did you ever go to newgrounds.com?
No.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna drink this rum.
Okay. Here, do you want to see? A preview of the editing that's going on?
You know I'm still recording?
That's good. This will be perfect in your video.
No, I don't think it will.
Let me just fix your video for you with another video.
I mean... Here's some Halloween spookies. And, oh...
Oh, I think I fixed the PNG. I mean the game.